Hi, and thanks for tuning in to this chapter of Bruder on Benefits. Let's talk about a topic most people don't want to address, and that is I've discovered I have an error in one of my employee benefits arrangements. What do? Well, first, don't panic. The Internal Revenue Service and the U.S. Department of Labor understand that the administration and operation of employee benefits plans is incredibly complex. So they sponsor certain arrangements whereby employers can go to them voluntarily and correct operational and administrative errors that occur within their plans. The IRS sponsors the Employee Plan Compliance Resolution System, and the Department of Labor sponsors a similar program. But the hallmarks of those programs are basically the same. In order to correct the error, you need to first identify what the error is. You need to identify the scope and the magnitude of the error, and then determine the appropriate way to correct the administrative error. These are known as operational failures. Depending on the operational failure that you have associated with your plan, depends on what you'll need to do to correct it. But generally, both the Internal Revenue Service and the U.S. Department of Labor want you to put the plan participants back in the same place, financially or otherwise, that they would have been in but for the fact that this operational failure occurred. Now, are all operational failures the same? No, they're not. If you have an insignificant operational failure, you made a mistake calculating someone's benefits, or you inadvertently excluded someone from participation in your group health plan, well, then you may be able to self-correct the administrative error and not go to the Internal Revenue Service or to the U.S. Department of Labor. But if you've discovered that you have an error that's covered a number of participants or a number of years, for example, you have a category of employees that you've impermissibly excluded from your 401k plan for several years, then in that case, you may have to go to the Internal Revenue Service and or the Department of Labor, let them know how you're correcting these errors and get their blessing associated with this corrective activity. Now, oftentimes, these errors are going to require you to provide additional benefits to your employees, and if you missed out on giving them benefits, well, interest may apply to those amounts. The alternative, however, is to ignore the error, and if the IRS or the U.S. Department of Labor discover it on their own, not only will you have to put the participant back where they should have been, but you're potentially subject to a penalty as well. Sound like fun? Well, it can be depending upon what the error is. But most importantly, if you discover an administrative error associated with one of your plans, you need to reach out to ERISA counsel, go through the facts and circumstances of the error, and they, someone like me, will be able to assist you in navigating the appropriate corrective action. This has been Bruder on Benefits. Thanks for tuning in to this chapter, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Hey, it's Charles Bruder. You've probably seen me on Bruder on Benefits. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you're seeing, do me a favor. Click the thumbs up button down below. In addition, click the bell and be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you have some questions or some thoughts, some things you'd like me to cover, leave me a comment below. I'll read all the comments and I'll be happy to include you in a future episode. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your support.